Hello, hello. Okay, I'm gonna hit record here. There we go. Just talking about this pedal steel here. Here it is. I have a reverb in there. It's a great instrument, and it's not too difficult, although it looks like there's a lot to it. It's pretty straightforward. You start here, figure out what sound you want. There's different sounds here. I like the 2 amps one. It's 2 different, amps set side by side, left and right, and there's also a DI. You get to this mixer section down where it says console, but the pedal steel's here. So first button is poly legato. That means I can play several notes. And the slide will react however this is set up, either downward legato, short slides, and then there's like a newest legato, which I imagine while you're playing chords, it's going to slide the last note played. Okay, so that's cool. Then there's poly, which does no sliding. It's almost like just a guitar sample or something. Not very useful, but you can do stuff with full chords. Harmonic mono is great. You can play one note, or you can do all these key switch things. It's awesome. Anyways, I'm going to explain that in a second, but I'm going to leave it there. Articulation is either normal sound or harmonic. I'm going to put that back to normal. Fret position, just different sounds from strings and frets and how they relate to the pickup, I guess. Medium. It gets sort of warmer as you get up. Sorry, that's quite a slide. I love the fact that you can do it at any speed. It's great. And if you attack, you don't get any slides. But if you overlap, very cool. Where were we? Fret position. Okay, I'm going to keep it low. I like the sound there. Tonic. This is the whatever key you're in. You should set this because all this harmony stuff relates to the key you're in. It's in C now, so everything I play is going to be diatonically correct in the key of C. If I'm in G, I need to play in G, to utilize that. So you'd use an F sharp. But anyways, you don't have to think about that. You can just leave it on C for now. Moving over here, manual vibrato means the mod wheel. So if you hold the note, it will go into vibrato, and it'll do slow vibrato up to very fast ones, but it's amazing. So you can really get a nice gradual vibrato if you want, or a quick one. But you may not have time, or you might not have the hand free to operate that, so you can set auto, and then just set when you want how much of it. To use auto though, it won't do anything. You got to come down here and set the modulation with your mouse first. Now it's kicking in. Oops, it's kicking in about 500 milliseconds. 300 right away. So you can set that when you want it to start, how deep you want it. It's pretty deep. I guess that's semitones. So delay, and the attack would be right how much attack it's going to have. And release, you can do it so that the vibrato lets go as well and goes back to straight. So it kicks in and then returns to straight, and you can set that time too. Very cool. So all your vibrato stuff's here. I leave it on auto because generally people add vibrato when the note's hanging around for a long time. Release volume, this is all just noise sample stuff. It's pretty good right out of the box. Release volume, you know, when you're releasing notes and whatnot. Noise volume, the chance of how much chance of noise. Threshold, priority for newest notes, legato and stuff. Most of this is just great the way they have it default. Sample offset, round robin, so different notes being triggered randomly, or you can decide how many. Pitch bend range, if you want to use your wheel, set to a semitone, which is just right for this kind of. Well, you may need a tone, or you can go all the way to an octave, but that's just for your bender. The ones that you do without your bender just play automatically. You can humanize the pitch so it can play a little out of tune, and you can set the temperament for that in here by, you know, making a little map. You know, if it was like crazy and you put a lot of it, it would sound awful. But you can make things more realistic by not having them too perfect. So I'm just going to do that. I'm not sure how to initialize that yet. And then timing, I guess it has, the more I put here, well, I think it would be more for chords. The timing would be a little bit off between the notes, so that would sound a little bit more realistic. So that's all this stuff. There's more velocity things you can change, portamento. You probably don't need to do much in here. But the last window is this harmonization window, and when you're in harmony mono, I guess they call it, there's the yellow key switches here correspond with this octave that it shows you here. So if I click on the C, it's going to play, if I hold C rather with my key switch physically, see I'm pushing it down, it's going to add a root to every note I play. No harmony, harmony. And each one has a different thing. It's all right here in the map. If I hit E, for instance, that's up here. It's going to play, let's see what it's going to do. It's going to add thirds and fourths, and okay, I'm in different inversions between E, F, and A. Right. Fifth. So I'm just playing in C and all the harmonies correct. And jumping between F, G, sorry, E, F, and A. So I'm playing the same melody there. And it's just playing different inversions, so they'd all be doing the same thing. And each semitone has something different. And you can change them just by, you know, clicking on it. So if you want this key switch, click it down here, C, and what do you want it to do? On every scale degree, you can decide what the harmony is going to be. And it's totally cool. So you've got pretty much everything. Gauging your own slide volume, making sure you set the key, like if I'm in C. anyhow, you don't necessarily have to perform all this key switch stuff. You can program it beforehand. You can set one, like put it into thirds and play your part, and then go back later and change it and just move around. So you know, it's jumping around and doing some fun stuff if you want. There's even one with a seventh. Where is that? There it is. You can add them together. Lots to learn here, but that's a good start. Have some fun with that. How do I stop this thing? F13. I can't see. I'll stop it myself. See ya.